the cross is a beautiful symbol. It's like in Arabic, in the Quran, it's the kursi, or the cross was the seat where all the kings sat. And so God's throne, in the verse of the kursi, or the verse of the cross in the Quran, it says that God's throne extends over the heavens and the earth. Basically, it's the universe, and how it's described in the Platonic schools, whereby you could see the Platonic solids basically represent the universe or the cube. You see, the dodecahedron, yes, and you can see basically when you open a dodecahedron, you can see these crosses with the decorations that many of the Christian churches have. Yes, and so the cross was a beautiful symbol. It was supposed to mark the end destination, as it's stated in the Quran, that the universe is going to be opened, which is the cube is going to be opened on Judgment Day. Yes, it's going to be opened and destroyed, basically. Yes, so the cube becomes a cross. So that's why the cross was supposed to represent Judgment Day. But instead, they turned it into an object of worship, that many people worship the cross itself. But the original objective was not to worship the cross, but to worship God, who you are going to meet on the day that the cross becomes reality, which is the day of Judgment
Yes.
Day, where you go to the kursi, or the cross, or to the throne directly in front of the throne of God, and you face God. So the thing is, that's that. You see, and so these things, and many of the stories, yeah, everything that we see in the heavens above, in the skies, and in our earth below, and in science and in nature, and even the stories of the prophets in the Old Testament, all of that has has some meaning in life. You see, so the thing is, that's why in Masonry they say all these stories are there, and the importance is to understand the meaning behind the stories.
Yes.
Yeah. So those sort of things. Anyway, Raphael, you're beginning to understand a lot more of what's going on. We're basically stealing Iraq's money, billions of dollars. We don't even know how much. Yeah, from the normal figures and estimates, it's about $250 billion a year, and they only get back $7 billion a month. Yeah, which is like $80 to $85 billion a year. Now, what do you call this? And they're not even allowed to trade with other countries to rebuild their
Right.
country. Yeah. So people in Europe and America who are complaining about these Kurds who came from Iraq, and these Arabs who came from Iraq and those places, do they have any right? And they're saying that these people are in hotels. Who's paying for these hotels? In France and Germany and Holland, people are complaining that these Kurdish Iraqi migrants are staying in hotels, and the governments are paying for them with tax dollars. Whose tax dollars are they now?
Sure. Of course. Yeah, yeah, of course.
Whose money is it now?
Sure. It's their own money or whatever, 5% of
Yes,
it.
they're being
Sure.
robbed. And they've brought only a small amount of them over here, while the rest of them in their country and most of the world doesn't know. I mean, did you even imagine that they were doing this?
I mean, from what you've explained so far somewhat, and also just a general idea that how much economic gain is there for, let's say, Europe and America. At the same time, you have these social programs, in particular for migrants, but it's still a bad deal because I can rob your whole country and then give you back 5% in social services or housing if you manage to escape, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, you're escaping, because over there what we've got is, we're making sure there's a conflict with Iran and the Shiites in Iraq and all of that, and we've made sure it's oppressed. We've made sure it's all messed up with all these strange militias, all these Babas, priests and everything, same like it was in Eastern Europe. So we've got ISIS, everybody else, so that then We don't have to even, there's no stable government or anything there for the last 20, 25 years. Then we'll say, oh, we told you so, the Muslims are like this. And then the thing is, but because everything's a mess, we give them less money, because every time the Iraqis ask for money every month, the Americans say, what are you going to do with the money? We think you're going to fund all these armed militias and terrorist groups. So we're going to give you less. And you've got to show us where you're sending the money. Yeah. So now you've got under states programs for basically the majority of Iraq to so that they get money, same like in Europe and America. So they're turning it like Europe and America state programs in Iraq, whereby the government gives enough money for enough nutrition and enough control, but the vast majority of the money stays with the Europeans, Americans, Australians, Canadians, etc.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's daylight robbery, yes or no?
obviously, yes.
How evil and criminal is this? How evil is this?
Yeah, I mean it's insane, but the issue is that
They went and they killed millions of people in Iraq.
at
A
large,
million
how
people.
should the people ever have the opportunity to understand all these relationships or even just understand what to do if they were to say, well, maybe we would like to have a, improved quality of life for everybody and not just make sure that a few thousand people, because they cannot find another way, I'll repeat that
Ah,
again,
but you
want
can't
to
do
live
that.
forever.
If you have an improved life, let's say, for example, in Iraq, the people go to better schools, they get educated, then they're going to understand that they're being robbed.
Sure, of course, of
Yeah.
course.
And so the thing is, if you get people educated in the West, which many people are, that's why many people have woken up to what is going on in Gaza. The Gaza protest movement is the biggest protest movement I've ever seen. It's because many people know from many factions what this is about. First, it's Gaza, then the West Bank, then they can set up the artificial intelligence temple. And like we spoke about last time, we can have a spiritual religious temple over there, which many Orthodox Jewish people want. Yes, but the states won't have it. That's why the Western governments and the Israeli government do not want Orthodox Jews, or the real ones, to have a spiritual temple. Yeah.
I see, yeah.
Things like that. Yeah, that's why they're fighting against, the Israeli forces and everything, and they're treated like trash and everything. And, yeah. But don't forget that there's two sides of them. They wear black clothes, and half of them are the Zionist and the extra Talmudic side, and the other half are more like the spiritual side. Yeah, and things like this. So you've got to differentiate between the the two major types of Orthodox Jews. Yeah, things like that. And so the spiritual ones, they believe that, hey, let's leave all this and let's wait for the Mashiach, which means the Messiah or the chosen one of God. And he will come and let him deal with it. Now, the others say, no, you've got to build a temple before then, and only then it's going to happen. So it's like there's two different opinions. And
Or it's not
so
gonna happen at all, and both are wrong. All right.
well, it's not about it's not going to happen. The thing is, the way the New World Order is going, it looks like it is going to happen. They've got rid of half of Gaza. Yeah. And once they get rid of the other half, people think the war is over. Actually, it's shocking. They've demolished so many buildings since the so-called ceasefire, and they're still bombing civilians and everything. And they're perfecting all these data centers that the Americans and the Europeans have set up along the border of Gaza, monitoring everything, every single detail. They're perfecting the programs and every single thing. So don't worry, and many of these people who don't understand what's going on, and they're thinking, oh, why are people going crazy about Gaza? Don't worry, very soon, it looks like they're going to win. Yeah, so far they've not won. There's half of Gaza to go, but the day they've won, and the West Bank, you've seen it, it's crazy. They're throwing people out. And the thing is, and they've made Israeli nationalists think this is for Israel. In other words, we're getting rid of
Right.
any other person. Yes. They've made them think this and believe this. Yeah. But the reality is it's not because of that. It's because these people are going against the entire system. You see?
Yeah, I
And
see. Yeah.
and these people are the biggest threat. And as you saw, that many of the Orthodox Jews, that they were there to help to set up and implement the Sunni system in the late 19th century and early 20th century, because they knew about the plans for the temple even before Zionism was formed. You see?
I see. Yeah.
And so they were doing it because they knew what the game was, because we've always had technology. Artificial intelligence in Satan has been here for centuries. This is nothing new. In fact, many of these um, future predictions and stories, which they claim is from Muhammad, but it's said that it's older, from the time of Moses and beyond. It tells you that they've tried many times to set up this system. They've tried many times,
But then
and they're
strange
going to.
why they didn't succeed until now.
They've not succeeded yet. They might fail this time. If they fail this time, we'll be back to the 19th century once again. Yes. So the thing is, it depends how things go in the next 20,
Well,
30
all I'll
years.
say, and who am I to say this, but I'm smart enough just for that, there has to be another way as well.
Well, so far it looks like they're going to win. So the thing is, there is no other way. It's like you could see it. People are worshipping the beast, the images. They say, "This is my language. This is my land. This is my flag. This is our this. This is my exact skin color. This is how it should be. Uniformity, and things like this." And so the thing is, let people fight for these pathetic things, and they can't see the greater game that is happening. Like, for example, in India. So over there, the Indian elite, yes, they believe, yeah, that it's their brown-skinned people. You see, same like in the northern Western European side, they think for their elite, it's the whiter-skinned people. So there's the elite in many of these places. They all want this blood. You see. And for them, they want to set up the system. They're using Hindu nationalism, burning Christian villages, burning Sikh Sikh villages or Sikh homes, or Muslim villages, Muslim homes, and all these other things. It's like I saw this video that was on YouTube that was very shocking. There's some Hindu nationalists, who you could tell that they don't really follow Hinduism at all, that they don't have any of the Hindu symbols on their body or the Hindu dress code or anything. Just a bunch of nationalists, and they saw this old Sikh man, and they were, just beating him up. To declare Hindu religious doctrine, saying, "Speak it or we're going to beat you up," and to an old man. And I thought, it's just become ridiculous. So it's like the thing is, they're using all these different forces and everything to keep people busy. But the end game is, everyone knows what it is. Digital currency is just a small part of it. It's to get you to unite with artificial intelligence or the genies. Yeah, transhumanism, and this was the plan when they were evicted from the Vatican and the boys were thrown out of Constantinople. That you could see it's in their Latin works. They'll say it's from the 14th, 15th, 16th centuries, but really it's more like the 17th, 18th centuries. That it's in my book, Last Crusades and Skull and Bones. Remember, their end plan was transhumanism. You remember
Right,
this?
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah. So those are the things. And then beyond transhumanism, is the thing is that you will be a transhuman, so you'll think you're going to be okay, but you don't realize that you are the pig or the food, and they're going to be feeding off you. Now
Right.
that is the thing people have got to understand. Well, anyway, the current battlefield, the last battlefield was Clovid. Now the current battlefield is Gaza, and so far Israel lost, and they're using Israel actually. Yes, because they're all in it together. But very soon it could win within the next few years, because they've got this Trump plan, which looks good on paper. But the thing is, and if it's carried out exactly how they're giving it on speech, it looks good, some parts of it on paper. But if they really build a city that's good for the people, then it's okay. But their plan is to build an artificial intelligence terminal whereby the people are basically temporarily going to think they're having a modern city and everything. And many Israelis will think, hey, we bought property there, everything is good, and everybody gets on well. But the reality is, underground and everything, it's just going to be the system terminal whereby it's going to connect other parts of the world onto the central computer in Jerusalem. And from the north, they need to destroy Lebanon and all these other things to get these things to bring terminal wires from Europe and all these other places and through Syria. They need to get that done. They call it David's corridor. People can check it out. That they need to set up systems to bring things all the way from Asia. So, and it'll have to go through Iran, and Iran's, not complying at the moment, even though they're with the system. But
Right.
they need more cooperation.
Hmm.
Come on, hurry up. These peasants, they're getting on our nerves in Europe and America. Yeah, that the thing is right now. The thing is they're doing very well right now. 6G towers are going to come up soon. 5G services are improving and taking more control. Digital ID, no one's going to be able to stop it. What they don't realize is every single day that passes, the children are stuck to the iPads. You can't even take the iPads away
Sure.
from many children. You can't. They'll start a fight. And you can't tell your children what to do in this side of the world because they're going to go to the authorities. Freedom of speech is basically dead. Yeah, that they during COVID was the test phase. The only thing was that you couldn't speak against the injectionations. I don't know if that law is still there. That's why I still say injectionations. Uh,
I think it's gone by now, but of course they can just easily re-gear that
yeah,
technology and shift it towards anything
yeah.
and everything, which also, I just want to point this out here, everyone should ask themselves the questions. If we've seen how well this type of censorship works already years ago, how well would it work now? Meaning that anything we are allowed to see on even remotely mainstream media, alternative media, bigger channels, or anything like that must always be allowed in some way, shape, or form, or it could easily just have been banned, but it's not. So there's always a reason why something is allowed to be popular.
That's that's just temporary. Don't worry. 6G is coming soon. Yeah, it's just temporary. All these things, Instagrams, TikToks, Facebooks, all these things, they're going to get rid of them. Soon, it's like it's already work from home. Soon you're going to be tied to your house. You're going to be tied to small spaces and everything. Everyone knows about these smart cities, 30-minute, 15-minute cities. They're trying to say we're not going to implement them. In Oxford, they've denied it. In England, saying we're not going to get it done. But everyone knows it's part of the agenda. They're going to get it done. And it's not because that you need to be restricted. The carbon things, it's not because that you're emitting carbon, because the data centers using all these fossil fuels and other things are emitting so much more carbon. All the bombings that it's not Israel only, it's the Western Air Forces there and everything. They're emitting so much more carbon and destroying the environment. Yeah, so it's nothing to do with that. The thing is, they don't really want to restrict you. Yes, in these smart cities and these 15-minute cities, they need to restrict you. They don't want to, but they need to. They have to, because eventually to get you into your pod, to get you stuck into that pod so that your brain is connected several hours a day, so that they could feed off it, so that they could stay alive longer. And they're going to keep you alive as long as they can, yes, so that they could feed off you. You see?
Yeah, I'm excited to see how that's gonna work out.
It's already working. We're getting there. People are fighting over stupid things. You could see that the Palestinian pro-Palestinians are who are mainly many middle-class white Europeans in these protests. A large percentage, or probably even the majority in many of these places. The thing is, they don't seem to see the common humanity that when it's the Iranian protest, they're turning a blind eye. The thing is, all of these things are connected. Yeah, Gaza is very important. It's because they need the terminal there. Oh, they're going to get it. It's because every day you could see they're demolishing more buildings, blowing more things up. The borders are opening soon, slowly. They know that in the south, there's a place called Rafah, and there's thousands of people in tents who've got no hope and no future, that they're just going to be sat there for the next 5, 10 years and everything. So they're going to leave and end up in Europe anyway. So, or America. And when that happens, of course, there's going to be more friction. People are turning around and saying, hey, there's going to be soon so many of them. There could be race wars or nationalistic wars. So, but don't worry, it's not going to happen, because they're going to make sure that they're going to fight against immigration and everything, because they're going to use digital technology, digital ID, digital everything. And they're going to do it. The thing is, digital passports, everything. You've already noticed that when you travel, you've got to give your identification and everything. And people already are stuck to their mobiles. And the young generation in schools, nobody's watching. The young generation is now, up to half of them are willing and ready to have microchips and microprocessors inside their arms and their bodies, so that, and with the Google lenses and everything, so that your mobile phone is in your body. You've seen Google Lens, haven't you?
Right,
And
yeah.
how that works. And these are the things. So it's going to be, and the people who are listening here, if anybody's middle-aged or older, don't worry, you're going to be gone. And so the thing is, it's because the children are going to school. What are you going to do? How are you going to fight this system? Stop them from going to school?
Well, I mean, there are of course alternative ways, and there are people that are aware of these things. There are
Oh
people that
yeah, the ones who are
are
doing it.
building alternative education and so on that
No,
exists. We'll
where,
see how
Raphael?
it
Show me, show
works
me.
out.
People are talking rubbish. Show me, where is this alternative education? Yeah, look at the children and tell me they go to school 9 o'clock till 3 o'clock, and then do you actually see the school, these children going to alternative classes every day?
Well, I only know that certain parents are just homeschooling their children or putting them in learning
Oh,
groups.
they're just a
That it,
minority.
of course they
Uh,
are, but that's always
okay,
the
so
case
now I'm going to give
when
you the reality. If in your city, watch out and look at many there's many Jewish people and Muslim people that they'll send them only to their religious schools, and if not, what you will see is that if they go to secular schools, paying attention to the Muslim ones, and you'll see what they're doing is the children go to school 9 till 3 o'clock, or 9 till 3:15, or 9 till 3:30. Those are the times in England. Then the children at 4 p.m.,
yes,
the
go to the
Muslim
religious
ones,
teacher. Yes.
yeah, they go to the mosque school from 4 p.m. to about 8 p.m. Yes. So what they've done is they are the only ones who are preparing. Same like
Hmm.
Albert Pike said, that they are going to be the difficult ones.
I see, yeah.
Did you ever notice that they go to these classes?
Well, I know it because I had someone Turkish in my primary school even, and there, of course, I only heard, oh, I have to go to Quran school or something like this, and I was like, oh, okay,
Yes.
interesting, whatever that means. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And so, as they say, it's not about religious brainwashing, it's about a way of life. That they are following the way of life, how the nobility does it. Yes, and as you've seen, you've read the book, The Science of the Kaaba. Now, is there anything suspicious about this Sunni system at all, now that you know it?
I mean, well, it's, how should I say, suspicious. It's very intricate, as I mentioned before, and seems to be very
Use
well
simple
planned
words
out.
for the viewers. Even the word intricate, I forgot what it means. Use simple words.
It is,
Come on,
how should I
Raphael.
say, it's refined. It is, ex seems to be exact or
Is it
advanced.
so?
However, the way you
So
like to say the word advanced, let's say it's
So is
advanced.
it so compared to the Western education system, where they're pushing you towards, open sex society, transgender society,
Yeah,
so
it's a
that
completely
the end
different.
game is transhumanism. When you look at the alternative, that they are based on the Platonic school, as Professor Anatoly Fomenko pointed out, that these schools of thought and these religions were actually based on science. Is that what the Sunni system and school and way of life actually is? Yes
Yes.
or no?
Yes.
Yes. I'm using simple words so that people can actually see, because they think it's to do with, oh, their Christ nationalism or their Islamism nationalism. Now, if people want to avoid and actually think, hey, we want to get away from this system that they're bringing in, I cannot find any other system that can actually do it. I can't. I can't. Because people have got images and ideas in their brain. They already worship images, and thou shalt not worship images. And that is from there you get the true freedom and the true nirvana to achieve samsara.
Hmm.
Yes, where Moses said that you shall not worship or love. The word worship means love. So let's keep it simple. You shall not love anybody more or anything else apart from God himself. You see?
Yeah.
And that's what the Sunni system has done. Of course, because the Sunnis in Europe, they're getting the double education, 50%. They're getting the system of the Sun or the Sunnah education, and 50% with this, Masonic education. So that's why they're half and half. You see? Yes, and then, but the others, when you go and see them in their home countries, yes, in their home countries, yeah, there is the corrupt people, there is the people who are abusing women, there is the people who are marrying the underage girls. Yes, but those books were, if you check from you, in Pakistan and in Afghanistan, they call them Taliban. They're called students. So there was children. The Taliban, the Hadith textbooks, many of them were invented in American universities. Now, let me tell you, in European American universities, they invented these things that the Prophet Muhammad did this, that. They printed all these books and they gave it to many of these orphans and children in the deserts of Pakistan, India, and Afghanistan. As you notice, there's millions of them. And they call them students. That's what the word Taliban means. And those children grew up. That's what they were doing in the 70s. So they invented this extra Sharia law, you see? And
Yeah.
that has got nothing to do with the Sunni system. The Sunni system, I've described it in the book, The Science of the Kaaba. And apart from that, there is the simple morals and
But
everything.
also the
That they,
fact that they invented it and made everyone learn it also kind of means that they were afraid of the original Sunny system, no?
yeah, of course, they were afraid of it. That they used the Americans and the Russians cooperated with each other. That they used it to actually, infiltrate and destroy this Sunni system. That was people, many of them, as you can see, yes, that people change based on the climate and the regions that they live in, that we can see. Many of the people didn't live in the Middle East, that they actually came from Europe and Russia, and they ran to the deserts to preserve this system. And yeah, and we can see in Europe that they actually had a system like the Sunni system, the way the women were dressed. And oh, I never said this before because I couldn't be bothered. Many people are saying it was cultural. It wasn't. It's because when you talk to many of the people in the Balkans, the old people, they're going to turn around and tell you that unfortunately it's sad, but it's true that even in the 1920s and 30s, in the poor areas in Italy, in Spain, and the Balkans, many people, they had simple clothes, but they were also wearing animal skins. They were still wearing it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So when we see these stories, we think, what the hell? And so another thing about the Quran memorization process must have started recently, up to about 200 maximum 300 years, it's because we could see people going from Eastern Europe to the Americas, and they don't have the Quran, but many of them, when they arrived in the Islamic world, they had the Quran. But also we can see that the Jesuits, yeah, they're like a business organization, yeah, because everybody wants money, and they were even teaching the Quran in Northern Africa. Yeah, that we could see the Sunni system was there even before the Quran, that the Quran can't be that old. It must be 300 years old. Like, Flamenco doesn't mention 2 centuries. And we see that this Fatih Sultan Mehmet was the 15th century. But if we remove 2 centuries, it makes 17th century, which sounds more realistic. Yes,
Yeah.
as you can see. Yes, and those things. But with or without the Quran, yeah, it's not just the Sunni system. Yeah, the similar systems, yes, that the Orthodox Jews have, which is very similar to the Sunni system. But if you remove the Talmudic Sharia and all of these things, then we just get a simple Platonic science, or scientific system, whereby human life and morality is based on, science and ethics. And so they invented ancient Greece to hide this original thing of the so-called prophets,
Yes.
yeah, who were professors, who were scientists, and they were known as Navi in the old language of the rabbi, which is the old Arabi or Arabic. And Europe was called Arabia. Yes, but they changed it to the letter E. But every other major place kept the name Arctic, Antarctic, America, Africa, Asia, Australasia. But Europe, they changed it to the letter E on purpose. Yes, only 100 years ago, around then. So this is the reality. And the thing is, just wait for it. When Gaza falls by that time, yeah, I think it's not long, another 10 years, and that's it. They would have established their smart city with its, systems and things there. Yeah, with maybe half the people gone and things like this from there, living in Europe and America as migrants. And of course, many people are going to think, hey, why we don't like their system of how they're dressed. Yes, how they've come here. Well, of course, they're following the system of the nobles that the peasants can't wear. So, of course, the people here are going to be, brainwashed, but the people accepted it with the hatred to think we're going to challenge, this dress form, the chapeau or the hishiapa,
Yes.
in Eastern European. Yes, it's actually a European dress code. That when the European empires, believe it or not, I've never said this before because it's a totally long topic, that when the European empires went to many of these other places like India and Africa, many peoples were naked. And so they took the original white European dress code system with them. Same like when the white European dress system of wearing skirts spread, that spread to other parts of the world. When the jeans fashion was for girls spread, that spread to the other
Hmm.
side, to the other parts of the world. When the makeup system spread in the 20th century and the perfume spread, that spread because they set up the colonial systems and they're sending these brands. The truth is, this Islam, which just means salam or sol, or the way of light, or the peace of light, salam, sol invictus, sol, yes, means light, which means peace, yes, actually came from Europe. You know, I don't care if people don't believe it or not, or don't accept it. They can read Professor Anatoly Fomenko's works and other professors who've pointed out, saying, hey, the Old Testament and the biblical stories are from Europe. And if they're going to say, hey, there's disgusting things like Muhammad married a 9-year-old girl or something, yes, they put the same story in the Bible, saying,
Right.
and Muhammad's great uncle, Isaac or Jacob, I forgot which one, married Rebecca, and she was age 3. And, they put it in the extracurricular, Christian, Judeo Christian books that it's okay to have sexual intercourse and all that with children 3 years old and all of these sort of things. So they invented the lies and they put it there. Same like in the Islamic Sharia law, they don't have the extra sexual things, but they've got enough bad things as it is. But they were printing many of these things in the 60s and 70s. In New York, they were printing them
Yeah.
from American white universities professors who could speak Arabic properly, who knew it, and they gave it to the Taliban and to other places, to the Salafists in Arabia and all these other things because they needed them to be fighters. But it wasn't just a need and a necessity; it was done deliberately. You see, so they did it. So now, if we remove these sort of things and we just look at Islam, just or what it should have been, what we could see it was before the West did these things, and before the other fake history hadith books printed in Germany, printed in London, that was sent and printed in Bombay in India, and then sent to Istanbul from Germany. All these hadith books. If we look at all of this and we remove all of this, then we just find that Islam is what? Just a Platonic science system
Hmm.
and way of life designed to match with nature and science. It's just one school of thought, and people could have their own schools of thought, you see? And that's what it is, you
I
know.
see, yeah.
Yeah. And so the images that people are worshipping, yeah, and to do with the tefillin and the wires and the system and the images of the beast, that's in the book 33 Degrees. People could read it there. Yeah. And about the fakeness of the Epstein files. And the thing is, yeah, the bad things are happening, but it's like if you're going to be doing pedophilia and rape and murder and torture, you're not going to be releasing it in public. Yes. Yeah. So the thing is, they've released it in such a way, in other words, you can't do nothing about it. You see, because the rules-based order, they're basically killing it. And they saw that even though it was the biggest protests that we know in history, the Gaza protests, but it wasn't enough. It should have been 5 times bigger. The moral outrage that people could make a video. Yes, Israeli soldiers who are Americans, many of them, American soldiers, basically they've got dual nationality, are going there who are shooting directly at children or women or blowing up a house with people inside it. And nobody did anything. So now they could release even worse stuff and show, hey, we've got rape, pedophilia, drinking blood. And guess what? You can't do anything about it. You see?
Yeah, it's a demoralization campaign.
Yeah. And well, what is anyone going to do? Yeah, their children, you could call it brainwashing, but they're getting ready for their children's blood to be fed to artificial intelligence for the machine. They're preparing them every day. And the opposition is preparing every day. But the opposition is getting weaker and weaker and weaker. That you could see it, that soon the opposition is going to be defeated. It's a matter of time. You can see this, yes or no? Yes,
Well,
it's a matter of time.
I don't have enough data, and like I said, there are certain basic issues with centralization of power where it's not exactly certain that only because it looks good for one side doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to succeed. There's
Well,
many complex factors.
for the vast majority, they've already succeeded. 10% of people are on depression tablets. 10% of people are mad. They're on sleeping tablets. They can't sleep. 10% of people are alcoholics.
Absolutely correct, but
10% of people are on drugs.
absolutely. However, it is not ruled out that
That's
those things,
40% of the people.
of course, it's absolutely
That's
correct. But
half of the
sure,
people in
sure,
Europe and America and in the Western world, their life is fucked up, unfortunately.
no question.
It's almost half the people don't know who their father is or no relationship, whatever, no family upbringing, that the state and the school is their father that's providing them morals and everything. That's more than half the society. You see?
Yes, I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that from a systems theory point of view,
And
from
how
what
many
I
people
understand,
worship the beast?
of course,
Worshipping images and
no
everything.
question, no question about all of that. I'm just saying that only because there is a majority or a trajectory right now doesn't mean it has to continue like that.
The-
But we'll see.
No, eh, when I'm not talking about it doesn't mean. I'm talking about it will continue. They're doing whatever they want. They got away with 9/11. They got away with setting up restrictions in airport. They got away with creating artificial borders. They got away with printing fake money as much as they want. They got away with all these laws and they've put them in place. They've done it. And you can't do fuck all. The only people who don't recognize these things, yeah, are the Orthodox Jews and a few others like the Sikhs and a few minorities. But the biggest group of people are the Sunni Muslims. Everyone knows that they don't recognize. They're going to lie to you and say they don't recognize Western civilization. No, they don't recognize the system.
Right.
And they won't integrate, everybody else will. Eh, the Indians integrate, the Chinese integrate, yeah, the Russians integrate, black people integrate. People will go drinking, taking drugs, everybody will be together. The Muslims, yeah, they'll come to a few parties, a few this and that, but they won't fully integrate. And many of the Orthodox Jews, not the secular Jews. So the biggest group of people who will not integrate are who, Raphael?
We are back with the Sunni Muslims, following the
Yes.
original system as much as possible.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's a matter of time they're going to be defeated because they're doing everything to make sure. Yeah, they're going to blame it on Israel, saying Israel's going to do this, Israel is planning this, Israel controls the TikTok, Israel controls the propaganda. No, it's not. And they're going to say Israel is, making these men into pedophiles. No, these men were pedophiles anyway. You see, Israel helps them with the blood supply. No, these men were drinking blood anyway. You see, yes
Yeah.
or
Hmm.
no?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Yes or no? So the thing is, if people want to stay prejudiced and whatever, it's not about prejudice or prejudiceism. It's a question of where do you want the world to go? And
Right.
so at least the Sunni Muslims have got a clear vision and they're clearly organized and we can see which way they're heading. Yes, we can see which way they are heading.
Right.
And the thing is, it looks like at the end of the day, they're not going to win. Because what's going to happen is that the Americans are sending F-16s, F-35s, drones, everything. You see, the invasions, whatever they want. You see, oh yeah, and the scapegoats and the plan will be it's all for Israel. Blame it just on Israel. So that's what they're going to do. They've already started saying, the vaccine companies, this, that, it's connected to Israel, this, that. But half these people, there's no evidence they were Jews. Same like all the massacres in Eastern Europe, all the communists, they were all Jews, this and that. But many of these families, there's no proof that they were Jewish at all anyway. Half the history is fake and whatever. But even though the Jewish people, many of them are involved, not all of them. Yeah, many of them are involved, and same like many French people are involved, many Russians are involved. It's like, isn't it so strange that all these elite countries have signed up to Agenda 2030, even though they're pretending to fight each other in public?
Sure.
They've got the same plan, same destination. You see? Yes, that when it came to the injectionations, oh yeah, Israel doesn't get on with Hamas. Yeah, they don't want to talk to the Israelis. Oh, you got the COVID injectionations. Oh, the borders are open. Yes, you're my brother. You see?
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, the people of Gaza, they're dangerous. Most of them have had, zero vaccines since birth.
Mm-hmm. I see, yeah.
Yeah. Not just them, but a large percentage of Muslims throughout the Muslim world, even though their administrations are trying to force all these vaccines on them, a large percentage or a large majority in many places have outright refused. It's because the way their system is designed, whether they're educated or not, based on that one system,
Right.
they've managed to reject many of the things that we are saying that are problems in our side of the world. It's because it's a system that was designed to oppose this other system, that if the other system is successful, yes, it keeps the elite in power. And there will always be an elite. It's because there will always be people who don't want to die, you see,
I
and who
see.
will think, how do I stay alive? How do I grow young? I'm bald. I want my hair to grow back. I don't like it. I'm weak like this, whatever. And so there will always be people who are willing to think there's human blood available. You see, it's always going to be like this, no matter what. You see, so and it's been said by these so-called prophets or professors for centuries, and it's been passed down, saying they're going to try many times. You see, because they want to live for 1,000 years, and they're going to feed off your blood, and your brain is the most intelligent and the most active blood. You see. Anyway, Raphael, any questions?
Well, many questions, but I think you lined it out pretty well and pretty with a very good overview and lining out the different ideologies and sides and the potential ways. All I can say, just to repeat, is it's very interesting. So, of course, it appears overwhelming and everything seems to be set already, maybe for some people. At the same time, like I said, or like you just said, it was predicted that this would be tried many times. So, I guess ultimately, once again, it will be up to the people what they will accept and what way of
It's not
life they
hard to
choose.
predict. You don't understand. There's always going to be people in the future
Yes, yes.
who
No,
want to do crime,
makes
who want to
perfect
be richer
sense.
than somebody else.
Makes perfect
There's
sense.
always, it's like because I'm a guy, so I'm going to say it, there's always going to be some bitch out there who wants to show the boys that she's better looking than everybody else. Yeah, who's going to be flashing her beauty. Yes, there's always going to be the idiot guy there who's going to be flashing his money, thinking he could buy the world. Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
sure.
yeah, yeah. So you could see it. So there's always going to be the people who don't want to die and who are going to find a way to live forever. Yes, and that's what it's going to be. And there's always going to be some people who professors who are going to think, let's set up a system because we know we're going to die. Like this Professor Norman Finkelstein, he's Jewish. He's not set up a system, but you can see the way he talks about Gaza. It's like he's thought things out. So the prophets or professors, many people call them divine, Moses, Christ, Muhammad. Yes, people call them, they had divine information. That's what I mean by divine. Many people say they were inspired, by God himself. But the thing is, there was great thinkers in the past. And what they did was they tried to set up systems. Yes, systems of how it could be a system that's going to survive after they die because they can see the other people have a plan that takes, around 100 or 200 years to
Yes.
implement. Yes, to implement. So that's what they've done. And that's what the war has been about since the beginning. You see, between these genies and these humans, and they all use each other and they get to each other's fears. And the fears of humans is they've got this human body. So, and they're scared that their body is going to fail. And how do you make it alive longer? And the easy way is by human blood.
Right.
And you said before, surely there must be other way with technological advances. Maybe there is, but there's limitations, maybe, and something. But for them, the easy way it's been, like
Yeah,
you've seen.
I can believe that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like you've seen in my books, I've pointed out that the popes were drinking blood. Yes, and there even just 100 years ago in England and in other places in Europe and America, they were eating dead bodies, but then they started hiding it as soon as the world started getting modern after the 1930s and 40s. There's televisions, there's photographs, and then they went undercover. Or before, they used to do it openly that you could even find photographs from, the early 20th century, late 19th century of people having parties eating dead bodies, or they used to call it eating Egyptian mummies as an excuse, the mummy party or eating dead people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Or someone who they've basically killed. We're going to eat him or her. You see? So that's what it's about. In case people are thinking, why are they so obsessed with they need to do it? It's because you don't want to die. It's like if you knew you were going to die tomorrow in, let's say in Europe, and you've got 24 hours to get out of Europe. What are you going to be doing for the next 24 hours?
Sure, find a way to get out. Of course.
Trying so hard, busy, doing anything, everything, whatever you can. So that's what these people are doing. They're busy doing anything, everything, lying, cheating, stealing, doing whatever it takes, yeah, to set up their new world order, a system whereby they will get their food.
But it's also
You see,
ultimately that even though we don't exactly know, that they must somehow be afraid of whatever happens after death, or they
that's why you don't want to
don't want to go
die.
there. Yeah, yeah, sure.
That's why you
I
don't
just
want to
want to
go
point it
there.
out that it's based on some
Yeah.
sort of fear which may or may not be rational.
That's
We don't
why
know.
we're finding a lot of evidence that some of these people, if you read the book Illuminati Games, that it's strange that this person turns up as that person 10 or 20 or 30 years later. That the question is, did they really die?
Yeah.
You see, and how long have they been alive? That many people are guessing these things, but it's not hard to guess that now they're not even hiding it. It's because the rules-based international order, basically it's dead, or they're saying it's dead. The Canadian Prime Minister said it at Davos. Basically it's dead, and it was based on a lie. Same like in Iraq, they were already abusing the rules anyway, but now they're doing it openly. It's because they're openly going to do this. You see, they're openly going to do this, that once they collapse the system, you could call it the Great Reset and everything, they're openly going to feed on you. And you won't object to it either, because you'll think, hey, it's part of this digital system, whatever. I'm sat there, I'm enjoying my life. My brain is connected to the processor, to the central internet system, and I'm living an artificial life. But you'll think you're having a life, going out, doing this, doing that. You'll think you're walking around, traveling, eating, sleeping, but the reality is you're doing nothing. You see, they're just feeding on you. You see?
Yeah. The
Yes.
Matrix.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, the Matrix. Yeah. So the Matrix, the word comes from the word mother. Yeah, and all of these things are a joke and a lie. You could read it in my book, The Matrix, or The Matrix Codes. Anyway, Raphael, any questions, or let's leave it at that. It's almost getting to 3 hours now.
Indeed. Thank you very much, David. And
Yeah.
shall this information to whomever is listening, I hope this information benefits you and allows you to make an
Oh, let
informed
me go
decision.
ahead. I doubt it's going to benefit. It's because as you can, I doubt it. I'm going to be honest to you. People are going to do research and they're going to say, oh, yeah, I've just found artificial intelligence feeding off the brain. Yeah, off your brain blood cells. All they need to do is connect you. Oh, I've just found the tefillin thing. Oh, I've seen it in his book 33 Degrees, the wires of the straps of the tefillin. Now it makes sense how it matches with 666. It's also clear, the 33rd degree, whereby they want to live forever, they want to become God. I understand the 19. I can see all the plans and everything. Yeah, I can see how these prophets and professors set up these platonic natural systems in the past to oppose it because they saw death as a natural system. Whereas these people have turned around and said, death is not natural. We're supposed to live forever over here. And they're willing to do it at the expense of other human beings.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, and everything. Yeah. But the thing is, how's it going to benefit? The only people that are preparing and who are seeing it, like everybody could see, you could see that in Gaza, somebody's child dies or somebody dies, they say, Alhamdulillah. It means thanks to God or praise to God. Yeah. Whereas over here, in our side of the world, we're all terrified of dying. You see? So it's because many people are already worshipping the beast. And how's it going to benefit people? It's because the thing is, most people will not join any of the oppositions. Of thinking of how to have a natural life and natural systems or anything, and how to educate their children and be part of, like the global opposition. People aren't going to do it. You see? So you show me the benefit. What benefit are you talking about?
Well, it's an individual
I'm going to talk
decision.
like normal Finkelstein. I like the way he talks. What benefit are you talking about here? Nobody's going to do anything. After COVID, that was the test phase. They totally trashed the rules-based international order.
Well, but
At
even
Gaza,
here,
they were
if what you
openly
said,
killing.
sure.
Let me just finish and point it out, sir. They were openly killing the children. You can see it, that there's Israeli snipers who are dual national American, British, French, Australian citizens. And the world just watched. You can see it in front of your face that they broke the morals and the rules. And now you are telling me that people are going to take action. The rules are over, and there's going to be a reset, and you are going to be fed to the machine.